What words should I use when I talk to my kids about sex? Yeah, I know it can be awkward, but I so appreciate it when parents are thinking ahead and they want to be prepared, and that is going to be the best case scenario for the parents and the kids. And listen, I have some great resources for you about that. So stay till the end, and that's when you can find out what you really need to know. But today's question is, what words should I use when I'm talking to my kids about sex? I have three categories of words, and they're sort of in priority here. So the first one is the correct biological terms. Now, listen, I know when babies are little and we want to be cutesy and they're so sweet and adorable, but there has to be a time where you branch out of baby talk, and you don't even really have to use baby talk when you are using terms. We want to be age appropriate, but hey, we teach children the eyes, the nose, the ears, the mouth, so we can even use the sexual names for body parts, the biological names. You know what that does? It absolutely debunks any kind of stereotype, so that when they're getting older, they're like, oh yeah, I heard that word. It was very normalized. If you referred to penis, vagina, breast, if you said actual words, scientific, biological words, then your child will have an ease with that. Not an ease that, oh no, they know too much. It will prepare them. You will have done them a great service. And it's very respectful when you use those labels because they are universal. So there's a professionalism. There is just respect is the right word. I was thinking, if they go to a doctor's office, these are the words they will hear, and they won't feel awkward like, oh, I've never heard that word before. What does it mean? So biological terms, yes, that's the first category. The second category, I'm going to throw out Song of Solomon and poetry and metaphors. Certainly we know there's a lot of words used in lyrics, but I don't want to go to slang. Slang and locker room talk very rarely works as adults as something that's respectful, and we wouldn't want to bring up our children thinking that those words are the nice words. We want nice words for our children to learn. Now, what's really cool about Song of Solomon, if you're a Christian, you might or might not know that is the only book in the Bible completely dedicated to talking about sex. Now, is it direct? Well, there's a few phrases that are very direct, but most of it is metaphors. And they might be metaphors that were very well known during that day, like, oh, your neck is like a tower and your teeth are like goats. But really, the reason those metaphors were used is because, first of all, the people could relate to it. It was a agricultural community, so they understood that. And there was a bit of mystery and intrigue that was instilled in those words. And really, that represents God's design for sexual intimacy in marriage. It's always about the dance. It's always about the pursuit. And these words, these types of words, invite us to go to that place. And it's really an example, too, of how God wants sexual intimacy in marriage to be approachable and to be framed in these very respectful ways. As I said, there's nothing lewd or locker room about these words, and that's a great place to invite your kids. Now, the third category might surprise you because I'm talking about personal stories, your personal stories. Don't tell your child about all your sex exploits. No. But as they're growing up, if you experienced a struggle that's similar to what they are going through, then you can say, hey, I remember when I was a kid and I had something similar to happen. Give a couple details and then always tell how you worked through that. You know what that does? That makes you approachable. That makes the topic of sex approachable, like, okay, we can just use everyday language. We don't have to go, oh no, it's the talk, it's the talk. We want them to be comfortable. We want you to be comfortable, but it lets them know they're not alone and you're not putting shame on the topic. So they don't have to put shame on the topic. So it was correct biological terms, Song of Solomon, or poetic types of words, and then make sure you use your personal stories. Now, as a relationship coach and Christian sex educator, I get asked questions about sex all the time, and I really welcome it because that means there is interest and people want to know more. And I believe learning more about God's design for sexual intimacy in marriage is a really, really good thing to do. And I'm in the middle of an Ask Mary series, so if you have a question, just put it in the comments and I'm happy to get to that. And I promised you a great resource, and this is what it is. I have 2 books in my personal collection, and I'm sure there are more, but I want to only recommend what I would endorse. And the names of the books are Kiss Me Like You Mean It and Intimacy Ignited. Both of these books unpack Song of Solomon. And we know that some of those expressions seem like there's a lot going on there. So this will really help you find more depth to it. Great books, great authors. You think you will really, really enjoy it. As I said, put the link in the comments for you. In the show notes. Now, I'm just so glad you're here, and I want you to remember that God's design for a thriving marriage is intimate connection in spirit, soul, and body.